Now, y'all, was this episode a little bit messy? Or was it just me? Was some stuff in there that was like, got my little brain wheels turning. But y'all, welcome back. It's been a long 2 weeks. I missed y'all. I hope y'all missed me. But y'all know what it is. It's Wednesday, Abbott Elementary Wednesdays. And we are back with another recap of the episode. So let's get into the video. Alright, y'all. So this episode is episode 14 of season 2. And this episode is titled Valentine's Day. I know it's coming up next week. Alright, so boom. The first beginning of this episode, we see Janine in the classroom, and she's about to call her sister Aisha on the phone. And in walks Jacob, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" She's chit-chatting up with him, telling him what she's about to do. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I want to meet her. I want to tell her happy birthday too. Like, you talk about her so much." And so she's giving him like this kind of warning, like, "Oh my gosh, she's so... she don't want to never get off the phone. She always like blows things out of proportion. She's this, she's that." And when she finally FaceTimes her sister, it's like the most awkward exchange ever. And so Jake was kind of like, "Hey Aisha, happy birthday." You know how he is. He's hype or whatever. And she's like, "Hey." And Janine introduces them, and then the phone call was over after probably like a minute or two. And Janine's like, "Oh my gosh, my sister is so talkative. Can never get her off the phone." Like all this awkward energy, and the whole time Jacob's looking at the camera like, "Okay, whatever you say." Who you're describing is yourself, because you want me to sit down and hear all of these stories, and you won't let me out this room. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then we jump to the teacher's lounge, y'all. That's like the spot for them. I love it. But all the teachers are chit-chatting about their plans and their boos for Valentine's Day, and what they're gonna do, what their traditions are, and things like that. This is Greg's first Valentine's Day with Amber, who's one of his former students' moms, which he made a very, very clear because Barb brought it up. Barb is talking about the things that she's gonna be doing with her man. Melissa's kind of frustrated because she wants to have these plans with vending machine boo. I can never remember his name. And the show just went off and I still don't remember his name. But her boo that, you know, from season 1 that she met that did the vending machines or whatever, she's kind of frustrated because she doesn't really have plans. But, you know, she wants to do something with him. You know, that's her man. But she hadn't heard from him all day. So she's starting to get kind of frustrated. And Janine comes in. She's got this cute little cutout heart and with, you know, candy and stuff. And she's like, "Did one of y'all put this in there? You know, I got a secret admirer type of thing." And they're all looking like, "No, wasn't me. Come to find out, when we go to Janine's classroom later on in the day, it's one of her students. And this particular student's name is Donnie. And when I say he has the biggest crush on her, he has the biggest crush. And it's like, oh, it's cute. But homeboy was like so super serious. Like, talk about he don't need no little girls. He need a woman. I'm like, Lord, these kids today. And when asked what she's supposed to be doing for Valentine's Day, she let us know that later on after school lets out, she's going to be meeting with Mo or Maurice, which, you know, is Greg, one of Greg's really good friends, after school. And then we see Ava, and she's on the phone with her boo, Iggy, which was the basketball superstar or whatever. And she's talking to him on the phone in her office, and in comes, I believe she called him Tristan, which is one of Jacob's students' fathers. And he's all upset because he found out that Jacob is teaching Black History Month, and he's a white man, and he's just like, you know, I don't see how that can work, and you need to put a stop to this. And she's like, "Look, I'll handle it. I'll see. I don't understand the fuss, but it is what it is. I'll go check it out." So she goes to Jacob's classroom, and she is observing, is what she tells him. The whole time Jacob is like super nervous because he's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" But while she is in the classroom, you know, and all the kids are, like I said, are majority black, and he is white. And he's teaching about Martin Luther King, he's teaching about Malcolm X, and you can tell that Ava is very intrigued by the lessons and how he is teaching all of these black history facts and things like that to his classroom. So she becomes like obsessed, and it goes literally throughout the day to every single period, every single class that he has, and she's just gaining all of this knowledge and loving it and loving it. So then we see later on in the day that Barbara and Mel are still in the lounge talking about their plans. Barb is talking about making reservations, and somebody mentioned making reservations at the airport at a specific restaurant there, and she's like, that's a good idea. So she she decides to try that. And again, Melissa's boo still not returning the text, not replying, haven't called her, and she's like over it. She's annoyed, and y'all know how it is when you're expecting somebody to be super excited about seeing you or super excited about a holiday, and you wanted to spend time with them, and you haven't heard from this person, or they're not giving you that same hype, that same energy or whatever. So she's kind of like I said, she's frustrated behind that. And so as they're walking through the hallway, Janine comes up and she's like, hey Melissa, I gotta talk to you. And she's like, sure, like, what's up? So she's just telling her about Donnie, this student who's just like madly head over heels in love with her, and gives her the play-by-play of all the things that he's doing. He's staring at me, he's giving me gifts, he's saying all these things, and I'm just like, and she's just like, I just cannot handle it. Like, help me, like, what am I supposed to do? And Melissa blows it off like, girl, that's just puppy love, it's nothing. So while they're having this discussion, we don't see it, but right after Melissa walks away down the hallway, Jacob comes up, and he automatically assumes that this conversation is Janine talking to Mel about Greg. And so without even getting clarification, Janine's talking about, still talking about Donnie. Greg comes in and assumes that Jacob comes in and assumes that she's talking about Greg. So they're intertwining things, and things is not adding up, and then some things in the conversation is adding up, and then all of a sudden Jacob just spills the beans. It's just like, yeah, Greg. And she's like, hold on, what do you mean, Greg? I'm talking about my student, I'm talking about Donnie, because he's doing the most. What do you mean Greg likes me? And he's just like, you didn't know that he liked you? And she's like, there's no way that he likes me. Like, what do you mean? So they're having like this exchange, this back and forth. And like I said, he assumed and spilled the beans. And, he was telling her, yeah, remember when you was selling candy? He bought all that candy to impress you. He knows everything about you and all this other stuff. And she's kind of like in total disbelief. She's in total shock, even though we all know that it's like lightweight flirting every time that they talk to each other. And let's never forget about the club incident, which Jacob brought up as well, when they were dancing on each other. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know about the almost kiss, but he was like, yeah, like, and I was just like, oh my goodness. But like I said, our girl Janine, she was just like, ain't no way that boy like me. Like, you gotta be out of your mind. Like, I may like him, and I may not let y'all know that, but I know for a fact he don't like me. I am not his type. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Jacob. Now the cat's out the bag. Like, what is finna happen now? What the heck is finna happen? So we come back from commercial, y'all, and Jacob and Janine are still having this conversation about Greg. And Janine, like I said, she cannot believe it, and she's giving all of these reasons why he cannot like her. Like, he's with Amber, she talks to Mo, she knows about Amber, he knows about Mo. Amber is like well put together, she's the it girl, when she and basically kind of, that's what she was saying, like, her and Janine are total opposites. Like, there's no way that he's attracted to her, there's no way he likes her. And I'm just like, girl, if you don't stop. But her friend Jacob is like giving her all of the reasons why he does. Like I said, he knows everything's about you. He knows your quirks. He knows what you like. He knows what you don't like. He gets your jokes. You get his jokes. And she's just like, bruh, there's no way. And while all of this is going on, like I said before, Ava is observing Jacob's classroom, and he doesn't even know that it's because there was a complaint about him being white teaching Black history.
Hold up.
And just to throw that out there, does that bother y'all? Because when I was in high school, I don't know where she is at this particular time or this particular year, but back in 06, 05, I had the Dr. Knott in high school. She was a white lady. She was a lesbian, and she played no games when it comes to them history facts, and she taught the heck out of African American studies. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Does it bother y'all? Anyway, so he doesn't know that, like I said, the complaint is going on about him being white and teaching, and he's so nervous. He's like, oh my gosh, I don't know why Ava's in here. I think she's gonna fire me. Like, she never comes and observes. This is so out of the norm. He's fumbling all in the classroom. He's like, her presence is just making him so nervous. And but like I said, he's still doing a heck of a job. And like I said, his lessons, the way that he talks, the way that he teaches, the way that he engages, the way that he incorporates every student, like, they really learning some stuff. Like I said, and she was sitting there, she didn't even have her phone. She put her phone down. And Ava never puts her phone down. She put her phone down and was listening and soaked up all that good knowledge. So I was like, okay, Ava, I see you. And so then we cut to another break that the teachers have, and they're all chilling in the lounge again. And Janine, in her own little way, brings up the situation with Greg, and she like laughs to herself. She was like, yeah, so, and then everybody was kind of turned and was like, what's so funny? Oh, nothing. And then Melissa, which you know, she's blunt, she gonna say whatever. No, you laughed, you brought it up, so you don't tell me you don't want to talk about it. What is it? And so she was like, basically said, you know how Jacob told her that Greg likes her, and they was like, duh, like, duh, and you like him too. Like, it's obvious, it's clear as day. And but before she said that, it was funny, they were all trying to like guess who it was, but she was playing it off, and Mr. Johnson was just like, I know who it is, and then he just blurted it out, and then that's when everybody was like, well, duh, girl. And Janine was just like, what do you mean? Like, I don't like him. How could I like him? I talked to his friend. Like, I'm trying to get serious with his friend, and again, he's with Amber. Like, no, there's no way that we like each other. Like, what do you mean we're just friends? Like, that's so weird. And you know, how can we even work? How could that even work? We work together, and then what are we gonna do? Just spend days with each other and then leave and spend the night in the evening with each other and get each other's jokes and laugh. And it's just like all of these things that's coming out. She's so super, you could just tell, like, she's just like really trying to be in denial and really trying to convince herself that if anything did happen between them, that it would just not work. And the whole time I'm just like, girl, you are really freaking out. Like, it was just crazy to see her so shaken up by this, but then also at the same time, like, in her mind, like thinking like, but what if it could work? You know what I'm saying? But also not trying to let everybody know, like, I'm lightweight kind of happy that he do like me because I feel a type of way about him, but I also don't want to get, you know, let everybody know and it be too obvious. Ava's loving Jacob's class. She runs into his boyfriend as Jacob is out, you know, preparing for another period in the class period, and she has a conversation with Jacob's boyfriend, and he kind of just like, you know, what you doing in here? Like, you know, you seem to keep coming back to class, like you're picking up all this knowledge, like, that's what's up. Like, you seem to be really learning stuff. And she was like, I can't believe it because I never liked school, not even in college. Like, this is crazy to me. And he was like, well, you know, that's a testament to how good of a teacher my man is. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, you know what, you're right. Here comes the awkwardness, y'all. So Greg is walking down the hallway with this gift bag, right? And Janine, again, she knows all this tea about him now, and so she's flustered kind of. So they meet in the hallway. They have this conversation again, another conversation where there is assumptions about what each other is talking about. There's no clarity. So Janine's talking about one thing about, you know, because Greg mentioned, you know, did Jacob tell you this? So she automatically assumes it's about him liking her. So she's talking about that. He's talking about something totally different, which ended up being that he wanted her advice on a gift for Amber, and it was this Lego set. because that, you know, when you put it together, it's a bouquet of flowers because she's allergic to flowers. And if you could have just seen how her face just changed and dropped, and how she was kind of looking off into the camera, like, ugh, you know, like as always when Amber is mentioned. And he's just like, she's like, oh yeah, and he's like, so what were you talking about? She's like, oh, nothing. I'm gonna find Jacob and I'll let him know. He was totally wrong about this. So I was like, oh, because she, like I said, she was kind of disappointed. And I feel like a part of her did though want him to really like her. So she, you know, musters up the courage to be like, you know, this is a great gift. She's going to love this. This is so cool. That's like right up her alley. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they get each other. They get each other's humor and sentiments and all of that stuff. So she was like, this is a gift for Amber, correct? This is a Valentine's gift for Amber. He's like, yeah. And she's like, all right, let me go find Jacob. So she goes to find Jacob, and they're talking, and she's like, they're just having this conversation, and she's convinced Jacob, like, hey, he don't like me. He got the gift for Amber. He is very much into her, and I'm very much getting into getting to know Mo, and Mo is very much into getting to know me, and I think we just leave it at that. And Jacob is just like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, like she's adamant that she's fine. You know, she's not hurt about the situation. She's like continuously convincing him, you know, I like Mo. I want to see where this is going. And, you know, like I said, you could tell, like, she actually wanted Greg to like her. And she was kind of falling for the hype, but like I said, she was left kind of sort of jaded and disappointed. Which I was like, oh my gosh, just say it, you know, just say what you want to say to him. But, you know, nobody ever wants to be, you know, thrown out there and then they be like, no, I don't like you. And then it'll really be embarrassing. So once Ava and Jacob are together, and, you know, he's just like, she comes into the classroom. His boyfriend set up this cute little date or whatever in the classroom, and his surprise to Jacob was Ava. And when he came in, the first thing he said, when Ava came in, the first thing that Jacob said was, please don't fire me, please don't fire me. And she's like, what are you talking about? I just want to give you your props. And I also want to let you know that because of how good you were in teaching and how, you know, you made me just really like learning, I'm going to enroll back in school and get these credentials that I need, that I should have been done had for this principal position. And they was like, oh my gosh, congratulations. You know, like they're just very happy for her. And she said, you know, I'm going to give you a raise because basically you're doing the heck of a job, and you and Janine were in the running and you won, so you get the raise. And he looked off to the camera, very shocked, very surprised by that. And I was like, you better go, Jacob, you better go. And then as she's in her office, she's going back and forth with one of her students, the one whose dad was complaining, and they're chatting it up and they're laughing and stuff, and they're talking about the things that they learned in Jacob's class. And the dad came back and was like, so I guess, you know, you handled that white man that was teaching Black history. And she was like, you know what, I did, and he's going to continue to teach it, because not unbeknownst to you, he doesn't just teach it in February. He teaches it all year round, and the kids love it. So, you know what I'm saying, you can take that welcome ass on somewhere. And he was like, oh, stand corrected. And that was that on that. He tried to be too woke and realized he was too wrong. So at the end of the day, we see Mo is sitting on the bench, you know, waiting for Janine to, you know, finish things up so they could leave. And he had a gift with him. And in walks Miss Amber, and she's coming to get her boo. And they're going to go do their thing for Valentine's Day. And, you know, of course, because, you know, Maurice is Greg's friend, you know, they exchange, hey, what's up, Amber? Hey, what's up, Mo? And he's checking her out like, oh, is that Gel X on your nails? That look good. And she's like, oh, my gosh, you got Janine this bag? That's dope. She's going to love it. She's going to love it. I can't wait to see what Greg got me. So, in walks Maurice into Janine's classroom with this bag. And she's looking at it like, where's the gift? Whole time sis didn't even know that the gift was this luxury bag. And she's like, oh, okay. So then she's like, it's big enough for me to just dump all my stuff in there. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Girl, you better put some caps on them pins that you throwing up in that bag, because that's expensive. And she, like I said, she's not into like all this luxury lifestyle. Like, you know what I'm saying? She don't know this name brand from that name brand. That's not, she's simple, you know what I'm saying? But Amber, she knew all of, you know what I'm saying? She was, knew what it was from jump. Just like Maurice, noticed her gel X nails and all that, like, materialistic kind of stuff. And I was kind of like, that's strange. Like, they kind of like vibe on that type of time. And then we cut to Amber and Greg, and they're sitting at a table together in a classroom, and he gives her gift, and she's looking at the box, and he's like, you're allergic to flowers, so I thought this would be a good idea. We could sit down and we could put it together. And she's just like, you're sure this is for me and not my kids? And he was like, no, it's for you. And she rolls her eyes, because one, I know she's thinking, oh, girl over here just got a whole bag, a real deal luxury bag, and you giving me Legos? And she was just like, you could tell she was annoyed, but she was just like, okay, let's just go. So all four of them are walking down the hallway, and she's like, girl, that bag look good on you. And she's like, thank you. And then Janine mispronounces the name, the brand name, and both Amber and Maurice, they both correct her or whatever. And like I said, but still, she's like, a bag is a bag. Like, she doesn't really get the hype behind it. And then Janine tells her, your gift is dope. Like, that's going to be so much fun. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to do that, And then she's like, look at her, just rolled eyes, like, girl, whatever. And then all of them, the couples, separate. And as they walk away, Greg kind of gives a double take as he sees Janine walking away with his friend. And I'm just like, that part right there was kind of messy. Just for the simple fact, I feel like the couple should be switched up. Because if Greg is simple and Janine is simple, you would think that, we know that they vibe and they get each other. And then here comes this, Amber and Maurice, and they're all into the fashions, and they're all into the nails and all these big name brands and the labels and all of that stuff. So they kind of get each other on that one. So I was kind of like, I wonder why they kind of put like a highlight on that. Maybe they'll end up liking each other, you know what I'm saying? And then it'll give my guy Greg and my girl Janine a chance to get together. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. It was just something that I noticed. And then y'all, towards the end of it, Barb and Melissa are leaving. And Barb was like, I finally got everything together with this airport reservation stuff. I bought the ticket so that we can go through and go to the actual restaurant in the airport. So I'm good. And she turns to Melissa and she's like, basically like, you can come with us. Like, it's no problem. And she's like, no. And then all of a sudden she gets a notification, and it's Melissa's boo. And she's like, it's Valentine's Day, and all he wants me to do is go in here and check a vending machine for him before I leave. Like, but she still does it, and her and Barb walk into the teacher's lounge, and y'all, there was her boo with roses waiting for her, and she was so surprised, so happy. And then she's looking like, I owe you. What does that say? And then Barb's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too, Barb. And she's like, I love you. I love you too. He's like, yeah, I love the heck out of you, girl. And then they just embrace each other and kiss. And her Valentine's Day ended on a happy note. And I was glad to see that. It's like, oh, the love is in the air. It was really cute because, you don't really get to see Melissa Schminty's soft side like that. And her boo was like super excited and just like he said, basically just head over heels in love with her. And I was like, oh, now that's cute. She got her happily ever after on her Valentine's Day, y'all. And that is the whole entire recap of the episode, y'all. If I missed anything, as always, let me know. But I don't think I did. Valentine's Day is fastly approaching, y'all. Y'all have any plans with y'all boos, or Galentines with your friends, or however you want to say it? yeah, y'all, love is in the air. So this was a very cute episode. Again, a little messy here and there. Um, but I wonder just what's gonna come of this whole Greg and Janine liking each other situation, y'all. I just want them to be together so bad. But for the sake of the show, I know it's gonna be stretched out. I just know it is. And like I said at the beginning of the video, y'all, it was a long 2 weeks without Abbott Elementary, but I'm glad they're back. So y'all know next Wednesday I will be back again for another recap of America's #1 comedy. So thank y'all for watching. Remember to tell a friend about me, about over here at AABTV, y'all. And remember, y'all, I'm gonna be reviewing Snowfall too. It's coming back February 22nd. So make sure that y'all stay tuned, because that show was bomb, and it's the last season, so I know it's gonna be a roller coaster ride. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all guys have a wonderful rest of y'all week, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.